Breakfast. Fantastic to see you here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And do continue to welcome and say hello in the comments if you are here live. If you're watching this on the replay, what are you doing? 9 o'clock every morning for a magical mystery tour. We go deep on a little slice of marketing action. And today is very much kind of big picture strategy for business owners thinking about what are they going to do 2026, what's their goals, what's their plans, what's their objectives for this year. So excited to share this with you, and hopefully there's some resources. There's a dashboard that I'm going to be sharing with you, or a kind of a setup sheet for you to be playing with. So if you are watching this, do remember to have like a tab open. You can chuck all the links that I sent you straight away. Give us a hand up. Is this your first time? Who's here for the first time? Great. So Bill's here. A few other people are here. Welcome, welcome. And then put a two in the chat if you are here for the second or yeah 200th time. Stick a two in the chat if you've been here many times. Love this. Okay, 220 times. I love it. Good stuff. Well, welcome, welcome. So, what is this thing that you newbies have stumbled into? And a reminder to our vintage LinkedIn for Breakfasters. So, our mission here at LinkedIn for Breakfast is essentially to help you to be able to unlock the full potential of LinkedIn as a powerful tool for both business development. So, that's getting the leads in, the inquiries in. And the second thing is brand expansion. So, thinking a little bit more about people recognizing you, knowing you, understand what you're all about, right? So that's the kind of the mission. And our vision here is to make this the best place on earth to learn LinkedIn for free. So tell your friends, tell your family, tell anybody, bring the dog. We want you to go and enjoy this because we are here to be able to kind of enrich and to be able to help and to be able to support. And we love it when we get these success stories where people have tried the tactics that they've heard on a Wednesday, and by the end of the week, they're actually getting value. So that's what we want to achieve here. If you are not in this amazing group that we've got here, LinkedIn Breakfast School Community, 5,700 members and counting, gang. The lovely Flora's probably put a link to that in the chat right now. If you're watching this on the live stream, just type LinkedIn for Breakfast School into Google and you will find it, or go into school and you'll find it, or just come in, just message us. You'll find a way. You'll find a way. It's brilliant and it's free and there's no sales pitch. Right. Okay. So what's our agenda for today? So yes, we're going to be a little bit more kind of above LinkedIn in terms of what we're talking about today, talking about how to actually look at your business and how to increase revenue whilst not increasing the time that you're spending doing it. But we're very much going to show you how LinkedIn sits within that category. So what's the tactics for that? Okay. And then afterwards, we're going to take some questions, get some thoughts. You can even throw your ideas and we'll sort of mastermind it at the end. 45 minutes, guys. That's my promise. We'll be done. The actual content size is usually sort of 20, 25 minutes. And then we'll have some time to be able to get the conversation flowing after that. That is my promise to you. So let's kick off with this quote. Now, I love this quote from Alice in Wonderland, where she's kind of looking around going, well, I'm not sure which way to go. And she stumbles across the Cheshire Cat and she goes, well, what road should I take? And the Cheshire Cat says, well, where are you going? And Alice says, I don't know. Then the Cheshire Cat's, well, then it doesn't matter because any road will take you there. And that's so true in business, because if you don't really know where you're going, if you don't know what your goals and objectives are, it doesn't really matter. Anything's going to take you there. Any new shiny course is going to help you to get to nowhere, right? And we are so susceptible then as business owners of buying some sort of link, TikTok course or doing a new kind of funnel through ClickFunnels or whatever it is because we watched a webinar and we got excited about it, and before you know we're tumbling down that rabbit hole, right? And so it's vital that we actually know what is the objective that we're going towards, and then we can actually put the plan together. And I want you to help you to do that today so you know exactly where you should be getting your leads from, how many leads that you need, how many appointments that you need, and how many sales you need to hit your objective. And we're going to do all of that work this morning. Whew, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Right. So here we are. So double your income and work half the time. So we're going to ask you, what's the target? Where are you going? And then we want to know, what do you need to sell to reach it? And then how do you optimize your time so you're not stuck in the weeds doing this stuff? And therefore, how do you go and get the leads? Because ultimately, the inquiries is the top of the funnel, the bookings is the middle, and then the sales is the bottom of the funnel, and then delivery, right? And so we just want to make sure that we're filling that funnel. Okay, so here's the target, and what we're going to do here is I'm going to just give you a link to this sheet, right? So let me just get rid of this. So on this page here, this is a page that you can see here. It's got a replay of a training. Actually, I did this training once before. So this is in Dubai when last time I was there. Lucky I'm not there at the moment. So let me just share this into the chat. So this is a bit of a nice resource page. So click on this and have it open. So you can see here there's going to be a recap training that you'll go to, which is going to be very similar to today. But we're going to probably replace this video with today's video, so you can have that as a nice recap. And then you can access this Google Sheet to be able to work out your target income, right? So you just click there and then bam, this is the sheet that we're going to be playing with today. Also, you see here that I've got a link into a bit of a process here. So this is my notes on how to scale a business. So there's another kind of almost like, I think it's about 5,000 words. This is a long form piece of content giving you a lovely strategy on how to be able to scale your business as well if you're an expert type business. So again, that's going to give you a nice resource. And then if you want to, or you might have to refresh this page because for whatever reason it's cutting this form off. And then if you want to further down, if you want to spend some time with my team to audit your LinkedIn profile, which we'll talk about later, you can book that in there. It's totally free to do as well, right? So there's a nice little resource page. So it's worth having this page somewhere kept, save it, etc. And we'll also make sure we email it across to you. But this is the page that we want to look at today. This is the page we're going to do the work, and I'm going to go through this with you. Okay, so this is about thinking, well, how do I set a goal for my business? What actual goals, what revenue target should I be doing? Because a lot of people will go, oh, well, how much do you want to make? And you go, well, £10,000. And you go, great. Well, actually, 10,000, 10 grand a month. Okay, well, is that 10 grand a month for your business? Is that 10 grand a month for you? Is that 10 grand a month after tax, before tax? Like, what does that actually mean? And why is it such a round figure? Surely it should be a non-round figure, right? And so what I want to show you here is how you actually come up with what your figure should be. Because if you're a small business owner, your figure should really be based upon your lifestyle that you want. What do you want from your business? How do you want to live and enjoy your life whilst also having a business, right? And so what we need to do is actually put together a bit of a sheet that looks like this. And the first thing I want you to do, because there's going to go into actually looking at how your business feeds this, but the first thing I want you to do is find out what is this monthly amount that you actually need, right? What is the monthly amount that we need you to get to? And actually, let me just, I'm going to delete this row and then I'm going to put this, here we go. So we can then, now we can scroll up and down, you can see the tops of that. So the whole point of this is I want you to list down on the left-hand side. So you go to this, by the way, you need to go file and make a copy, and then you make a copy of this so you can actually edit your version of the spreadsheet. And then I want you to change all of this and just put in all the different costs. So if you've got a mortgage, put that in. If you're renting, put that in. If you've got cars, if you've got cars on finance, put that in. If you want to do different holidays, put that in. If you want to do various things, don't put it in for where you are today. Put it in for where you want to be in 12 months' time, the lifestyle that you want to be doing. So do you want to have 4 holidays a year? And yeah, one of them's a large one, the summer holidays, etc. One of them's a winter break, etc. Like we've got in here. Do you want to, what's your utilities cost? What's your house insurance? Do you have a gym membership? Whatever it is, you have a gardener. Stick all those costs in, work it out, use the notes that I've been putting together here. I put some links into different things like Money Saving Expert and stuff that you can go and use in here, and just get it down to this place where you finally have an exact number for what you need per month into your bank account. Now, here's the important thing. It needs to be a figure that we've got to recognize as being an after-tax figure. It's super important to be an after-tax figure, because if we don't have that right, then we can make 10 grand, but then we've got to actually pay things like your business might make 10 grand, but you've got to pay corporation tax, you've got to pay income tax on that, you've got to pay all the other fund and all the rest of the stuff that you've got to do, right? So that's important to note. So make sure that you've got that in there. Excuse me. So if you've got this right, then I'm going to show you how you can then be able to take this home as 50%. So basically, if we know that we've got 10, in this example, £10,633 is our after tax target, then our business, in theory, if we do a 50% take home after tax, which I'll show you how to do in a second, then you should have 21,266 as your revenue target for your business per month, right? Which actually means when we talk about the $1 million sprint within our coaching accelerator, where we're trying to help people get to 1 million in revenue, in this instance, it's just £250,000 sprint because you only need 255,000 per year to achieve this. And this is super important because with this in mind, now suddenly we actually have a manageable target, right? And I'm going to show you how even more manageable it's going to be when we start looking at how many leads and how many appointments, how many sales you need to be able to achieve this. But let me show you how you make sure that you get 50% of your income after tax out of your business, right? So there's an amazing book called Profit First. If you haven't read it, this is the second thing that I think, apart from our link, this is the second action for today. Buy this book, Mike McCallowic's. Honestly, it's an amazing book. I do one of these sessions, actually, a training session on Profit First. It's super, super good, and it will help you to be able to put together this type of a plan, right? Which is all about siloing your revenue. Because when you're a business owner, and if you're going to 255, let's say we're going to 250,000, right? That means we're going to have to be VAT registered if you're in the UK, right? So if we're going to be coming in, it means that 120% of your income will go into one bank account, right? And most people make the mistake of just having the one bank account. Now, I'm going to give the caveat that if you've got Starling, for example, Starling allows you to have different pots. Now, that's okay because we just need to have pots. It might be one bank account, but different pots, right? So I would recommend that. But most people have the mistake of just having one account with no pots. And it means all the money comes in there. And then when all the money comes out and all the payments have, suddenly there's this little bit at the end, which is you. And you're thinking, well, where's all the money gone? I was supposed to have 10 grand. And suddenly, like, all the money, the money's just gone. So we've got to be able to then move this into these different hoppers, right? So if we know that 120 is coming in, we've got to immediately put 20% away to the VAT man, right? So now we've got a true 100% in the bank account. And you can do this through like an automatic percentage-based transfer. So these accounts allow you to, the money comes in and automatically 20% goes into this account. And that's the VAT account, right? Keep that in there. Now, we will be tucking into that a little bit for yourself in a second, but just for now, we take the 20% straight off because that's the tax man's money. And then you got 100% left in here, right? Then what we want to do is put in an account or a hopper called OPEX. What does that mean? Operational expenses. That's the money that you need to spend on your VA, your ads, your whatever else you're spending, your cost of sales, whatever you need to do to deliver the work that you're doing. This is your OPEX account. And we say do 30%. This is you want to strip out 50% yourself. So you put 30% into your operational expense. Mass expands to the room that you give it. So if you say you've got 100K and therefore you put 30K into here for the year, that means that you'll only spend 30K. Once the money's gone, the money's gone. You don't go and nick it from somewhere else. It means that you cut your cloth to suit. And that's super important in business because it just means you have to get innovative and creative and more kind of for planning about how you're using your money because you're making an artificial squeeze of your own capital, which is important. The next thing we're going to do is that we're going to put tax, right? So you've got to pay corporation tax in the UK, of course, and we've got to work upon that. You also need to pay your own taxes. So what we do is we put 15% into the tax pot, right? And the whole point of this is fix 15% of your entire revenue. So we know that corporation tax can be 20 to 25%, depending on revenue size, but we're putting 15% of entire revenue, not the 20% of profit, which we'll talk about in a second, right? So just bear with me on that. I'll show you how that works in a second, but we're going to put 15% of everything you earn into a pot that says tax, right? The next thing is profit. So we're going to put together a profit account or profit hopper, and you're going to put 5% into there. Now, this profit is not for you. This is the retained profit. This is the money that's been put away for a rainy day. This is the stuff that you're going to have as a buffer in your business. This is the account that's going to be there to help to give you security, right? So 5% for profit. So that means you've got your 50%. So the final 50% is what we call owner's comp, right? Comp. Now, the point of this is, so if you've got, say, you've got your 200 K in here, so that means you're going to get your 100K out as an owner. Awesome. But suddenly there's things like income tax, that you have to pay on dividends and all that sort of stuff. Now, what we've got to do is we've got to be able to take additional stuff from the company to be able to mitigate that income tax. And so this is the clever thing. So yes, we'll take our money out, but of course you've got things like tax-free allowance, you've got things like expenses that you can make the use of. So you try and maximize the money that you come out as tax efficient as possible. But then what you'll realize here is that VAT, if you are spending stuff with VAT on here, you can reclaim the VAT. So you'll actually find that your VAT is more like 13%. So the additional leftover bit of VAT, you pay yourself as an additional dividend to cover your personal tax return, right? Nice. So then that's going to help. So the excess of your VAT pays your personal tax. And also when you're doing 15% of tax, it's so if it was 15% of 200K, you're talking about 30 grand, right? But your business would have only made 50% of profit, and you would have taken out some as the tax-free allowance yourself. So that 25, say 20%, if it's corporation tax, or say 100K, that's 20 grand. So you're sitting here with 30K, and your actual capital corporation tax is more like 20K. So what do you do with the extra 10K? You pay it to yourself as a dividend again, and then that helps to pay your personal tax. So the excess of your VAT and the excess of your corp tax pays your personal income tax, which means that you get your 50% home after tax. See? So here, gang, is basically what the book will tell you about profit first. Watch this back. Watch this back. Honestly, this will set you free if you get this right. Get Starling set up. It will really help you to be able to achieve this. Now, it was important that I went down that rabbit hole with you because as we kind of come up for air into this LinkedIn, into this target income goals sheet, remember that means that we can be confident to just double the amount that we need to achieve per month personally to make it our company goal. So I've shown you how, yes, it will work and you just double it. So now we're just heading to 21K, right, as our month. Cool. Okay. So now what we want to look at is how many sales do you need to achieve this? So what we've got to think about, there's a couple of important things. I put it in blue here. You need to think about what the lifetime value for 12 months is of one client on average, right? And so I've given an example here. So lots of people will say sell a 3 grand course or a 3 grand coaching program, or they'll sell blocks of coaching and it'll be 3 grand, or they'll sell like a marketing thing and it's 3 grand, or whatever it is. They'll sell a service, boiler installation, 3 grand, whatever it is, right? And say, for example, this one, you sell it for 3 grand for 6 months, and 50% of the people that buy it roll over for a second 6 months, which means that on average, half of them, so 1.5 grand, do the second 6 months. So your average client value, some of them will be 3, some of them will be 6. So on average, a 50% rollover, your average 12-month value is 4.5 grand, right? For example. So you've got to work this out for yourself and what your average figure is. But say if it was 4.5 grand and you're just trying to get to the 21K town, that means per week, if we look at this, we're going to go and look at what the monthly figure is, divide by 4. So actually it's the monthly figure that we've been working out. So we've essentially worked out per month, we've divided the 4.5 grand by the 21. So that means that we only need to make just under 5 sales a month of our clients, which means that per week on average, that's just over 1 sale a week. It's That's 56 sales in a year. So suddenly, on a 52-week year, you only need 56 sales. That's mega, right? That's a sale a week. Surely we can find a way of getting one sale a week for a new client. Surely that's not an unattainable objective. Must be able to do that, right? So then we've got to look at, well, how many demos, i.e., sales meetings, how many realistic sales meetings do we need to make a sale? Now, you may be a better salesperson than this, but on average, most people get three quotes. Let's just try and win one in three of these deals, right? So if you have a one in three sales rate, so you have three meetings with people who are qualified, who want to buy your thing, and you make one sale, that's a sensible average, which means that you're going to need to have 3.5 sales meetings a week. 3.5 sales meetings a week. That can't be too hard. You can bundle that into an afternoon, right? So it means that you need 14 per month. So this gives you a target now for how many sales meetings we need. Now, not everybody turns up to sales meetings. So let's say people book sales meetings and they don't turn up, or they're just completely unqualified and they should never have been booked, or there was some sort of need to rechange the meeting, whatever. It's just reality. Um, so let's say in every four sales meetings you get booked, three of them show up. So one person doesn't show up. So that's a 1.33 ratio. So that means in terms of bookings, so I'm just helping you guys be realistic with this, you need 4.7 bookings per week to be able to hit your one sale, right? So that means 1.8 sales. So it just means you're looking at 18 bookings per month. So 18 sales meetings in a month, just 18. That's so easy to be able to achieve if you get this all locked in. And you can work up to this because remember, we're working up to this by the end of the year because that's the target for the year. So then we look at how many leads do we need? Well, if you know for every 5 inquiries you get, every 5 good leads that you get, you're going to make you're going to get one booking. And then that gives you, so every 5 leads makes us one booking, every 4 bookings makes us one sale. Then we've got um, 23. 23 is the is the leads target. Need to get 23 leads in the week, right? So nice. So if you follow these through, and there's only two more things to look at on this, we start to think about, well, where am I going to get my leads from? Where am I going to get us leads from? I'll just give you some examples here of what that might look like. For example, you might do some paid ads on Google, right, or on Facebook, and you might just go and think, well, actually, I need to go, say, get 10 leads a week. Maybe I'm spending £2 a lead, 20 quid a week. It's not massive to be able to achieve this. But say I've run some meta ads or I do some LinkedIn marketing. So I do some connecting, I do some messaging, I've run some two-step posts like the ones that I've showed you. I can give you an example of that. And I'm getting kind of 6 leads per week from that. Okay, that's just cool. We can do this. And then maybe some other social media platforms. Maybe I've got some stuff ticking over there, not doing really much with it, but I might get an inquiry or two. Maybe I've got a nurture email sequence and I run maybe an event or something within this nurture email sequence, or I give away a download to my email list and I get 4 people downloading it. So, yeah, it's not hard to send a message out to it, right? And then we got other. Okay, so then with people, thinking about, what if you go to networking events maybe, and you get some leads from that? Where are you getting leads from? Because we need to get 23 a week. So you can't turn up to a BNI meeting once a week and expect 23 leads to fall out of the room, right? But you might go there and expect to, just target 2 a week, right? But you can realistically have a portfolio of marketing going out and 2 here, 4 here, 6 here, 10 here, realistically make this happen. And so here's the cool thing, right? So if we start to think about this, well, what is the cost to acquire a lead? And so say, well, I've got here at £4.51 for a meta ad lead. I don't even think that that's fair. Let me show you my meta ads. Da, 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 da. Obviously I've been running ads for a long time, so we're kind of good at them. But look, I'm spending £2 a lead here for our different campaigns. here, and so we've had, for example, 546, and so nearly 1,000 leads in the last 30 days at £2 a lead, right? Happy days for me, right? So if it was those figures, then suddenly, if we just put £2, um, then the cost per leads per week, as I said, is £20, right? £80. So per year, I'm not even spending £1,000 a year to be able to get almost 50% of the leads that I need. You then look at LinkedIn outreach, right? And you think, well, actually, we'll maybe blend a marketing exec between these two things, and then you get like a VA. So say you get a VA, right? Work a VA for us, like £5 an hour. This is the what we charge for the VAs that we work with. And they do a few hours here on LinkedIn and a few hours here on something like running a social media or helping the email nurture sequence, basically putting together all of these other things and helping you get your ads and all the rest of it set up, managing this entire process, then the total cost per week or per month can be super inexpensive by the time that you actually start to put it all together. For example, if you were thinking about doing LinkedIn, and we're looking to do some lead generation. So when we start to think about this lead generation piece, we're looking, oh wait, let's just get rid of this. So when we think about this, oh wait, get rid of this. Just trying to, there we go. Delete. Um, whenever you're thinking about doing anything, including the ads piece, we need to have a system, right? So we need to get people from awareness to consider to convert to deliver. The whole point of this. So I've just talked about leads. We have to be able to work upon leads and be able to get people through. But by someone just signing up to a newsletter or downloading something doesn't mean that they immediately go over to convert a sales meeting to be able to then go to deliver, right? We don't really want people. This is the deliver where you actually kind of do the work and you get paid, right? If you were just generating leads, people are subscribing to stuff, connecting, messaging and stuff, you're going to end up just trying to pitch them straight off the bat. Hey, do you want to buy my stuff? Do you want to buy my stuff? Do you want to buy my stuff? And that's not what we're trying to achieve. What we want to do is we want to put together a sustained model for them, right? So if we go from leads, we're getting connections, but if we get connections, we're going to messages. We want to deliver some value first before asking for the sales meeting. And so that's where putting together a content marketing plan can really help. And let me just show you what that might look like. And there's a great thing called a two-step post. So you guys might have seen me do it online. For example, this one. This is me talking on LinkedIn about how LinkedIn's released a new algorithm update. It's called Brew 360, and I'm doing an event. If you'd like to join the event and also get the free AI tool that I've got, comment event below, right? And if we do a quick recap, so here's the one post. And remember, what we're looking in this instance is per week, we're just looking, oh, and this is the one that we're working on. We were just looking to get 6 leads in a week for LinkedIn marketing, right? That was our target, okay? So we put together a post that looks like this. We put together a nice campaign. We say that we got an event coming up. Would you like the link to it? Pretty normal photo. And then look, 56,000 impressions and loads of people saying event, 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 event. These are the inquiries. These are the leads. So look, 929 comments. So because those people are asking for events, that's 929 opportunities for us, or 929 conversations opening, 929 people going from this leads piece into seeing the value and getting the value. And then, of course, the opportunity to book them into a sales meeting because 1 in 5 may go into here because we already know if we look at what we're predicting here, we're saying how many leads do I need to get a sale? Leads to booking ratio, I need 5. So when we look at a post that does really well, there's 900 odd there. I was only needing 6. So when you think about getting this right and you see all of this happening and these inquiries happening here, this is us getting it right. This is really, really cool. And so because of this, this is creating this huge amount of opportunity and this huge amount of ability for you to move the needle, not pay masses for it, but just enough. The cost of this is like 15% of just one sale, less than, right? So it's all about systems and processes once you've got this right. Super, super cool. Okay, good. Um, the next thing about this, I just want to talk about. So we can say, like, how do you double your income? So hopefully we can start to see by tracking and putting this together. I'm just trying. Let me just go into presentation mode. Okay, here we go. Um, so loads of people in small businesses, when they think about how do they make more money, they will. This is how you cut your time down, guys. They will think about putting some sort of value ladder together, some sort of, ascending transaction model, etc. I think that is wrong because if we think about it, we're trying to sell people onto a lead magnet, and then we got to deliver an initial offer, then we got to deliver a first tier offer, say 100 quid, and then there's a price thing about £1,000 before you know it, then we got this higher end thing. Basically, the problem is that you're just creating this huge volume of products, right? So we're creating this kind of ladder of work because you're going in here and we go, right, have this free thing, and they go the free thing and they say, oh, that was good. Okay, well, why don't you buy this sort of £10 thing? And they go, well, yeah, okay, fine. I can see that you might be someone that might be able to help me with my pain. I've done that. It didn't really help. Okay, fine. I'll try you for your £100 thing. And I've spent some money with you. I'm like, oh, that doesn't really help. And I spin over here and I buy some person's 10K course over here. And you're like, but I had this like 10K course up here. All you had to do was buy the £1,000 thing, and then I'd upsell you onto this next thing, and then finally you have the 10K course. And they're like, sorry, mate, I was in a hurry. I didn't want to fanny around with your model and buying all this stuff to fail to get the result. I wanted the result. So don't do this because also you've got to spend time delivering all this stuff. So this might be you, and you've got some clients over here you're delivering this to, some clients over here you're delivering this to, some clients over here you're delivering this to, then there, and then they all know that you do this, but actually these guys wanted some sort of bespoke thing. So you're doing like five different things for them. Before you know it, you're stretched in multiple directions. Don't do that. Just don't do it. Sell one thing. Do what we call F2F, right? F2F. That's not face to face. It's called free to flagship. Blow their minds with free. Give them such a great experience, right? When we look at the anatomy of this post, right? This is, I mean, it's literally, so let's have a look here. So when we look at the anatomy of this, I am going, here's some information about something that I'm a specialist in. And I have created an AI tool for you to use for free and an event for free. So really good value for free. Blow their minds for free and then sell them one thing, your flagship product. Sell them the solution. Don't give them a bronze, silver, and gold version. Just give them the solution because then you only are delivering one type of thing to one type of client. And on free, you're only delivering one type of thing to one type of person. So when we think about your hours in the week, and look, these are the different things. I used to run a boiler servicing business, so I know how it can work from a boiler servicing, home services business. I ran a marketing agency that I scaled and sold, and obviously I've got now a virtual assistant business. The whole point of this is it works across all of these parameters because if we think about your week, you want to be able to put together, say, one what we call weekly moment. If you do a weekly moment 1 week and you do it for 1 hour, right? You guys are currently in my one weekly moment. I'm going to give you the best that I can give you as much as possible with loads of free links. And I spend loads and loads of time perfecting this. I give you this, and that's my one weekly moment. It spends 1 hour for that. That's my one piece, right? And then I also put together, say, you've got a coaching business, and instead of doing one-to-one coaching, for example, this is just an example for a coaching business, do group coaching because then you can do, say, two drop-in clinics a week with your coaching clients. Everybody can come to those drop-in clinics. So that means you've got 2 hours, right? And then you might have to do your sales meetings, right? So we understand that you've got to do these sales meetings. So let's go around to how many we would need to do. So three and a half, right? So let's just say for round numbers, we're going to do four sales meetings, or you'd have to probably have four sales meetings booked out because one person's not going to show up, right? So then you've got your four sales meetings. Um, the the whole point of this, you're going to be like, yeah, but there's so much admin and stuff we've got to do around this. If you've got a system where you know you're going to be doing this one event a week or this one two-step post a week or whatever it is, right? Because this might not be just delivery for an event. You might just have an hour to produce a really good two-step post for LinkedIn, right? If you have a VA that's helping to be able to get this two-step post out, DM all the people that are messaging in it, get these people into this, not into the event, sorry, get them into the actual sales meetings and basically be the glue that helps them to be able to put all these things together, you're going to have someone who is taking the thing that they can't do, which is the high value stuff that you can do, and then just make sure that they distribute all the attention from that towards the bits that also they can't do, which is the sales meetings, right? So you need to show up for the sales meeting, you need to create a really great piece of content every single week, and then know what the targets are and really focus on that, right? So F to F, right? Free to flagship. Blow their minds with free, give them an amazing experience, and make sure it's super, super good because only good stands out these days. And then sell one product. If you sell one product, you can hyper optimize your time within that one product. And that will really help. Cool. Okay, right. So that's it in terms of what we're talking about. If you're unsure, on actually how this should work. And actually, if you've seen what we've just shown you on that LinkedIn, for example, showing you this tactic here in terms of this two-step post, and you want to have your profile optimized and you want to be able to look at how am I going to improve what I'm doing. As I said on this link here, there is this form to be able to get a free one-to-one LinkedIn profile audit. I will stick that. I'm going to ask some questions in a second, but let me just show you. I'll just get the link into the chat. Um, just trying to work. Here we go. Perfect. Perfect. Good stuff. So that's coming into the chat now. Book yourself onto this. This genuinely, there you go. So LinkedIn profile audit in here. This is such a good thing to go and attend. And you will get so much value from sitting with our team and just going through what does your profile look like. We'll look at your headline effectiveness, your profile and banner, maximizing recommendations, the lead generation piece, like I just showed you. All of that will be going through. We're all kind of sold out of spaces, not sold out because it's free, but we're cleared out of spaces this week. So you've only got a couple of days left, and they're not masses amounts available on those days. So jump in whilst you still can on those days. Cool. Um, let's get some feedback, some thoughts. How does this apply to your business? Um, Fantastic. PJ says, look forward to completing my spreadsheet. And I do like the F to F. Really need to think about that. Honestly, the one product sets you free. Selling one thing is amazing. It really, really does help. Into the room, gang. Um, so Dermo said lead gen reach speed to lead conversion rate percentage. Yeah, so speed to lead. So you want to make when you get the leads, you want to get onto them fast. So B says, how much is an ad campaign on LinkedIn? So we always see LinkedIn as being more expensive than the Facebook ads. It's just how it's been for us. Some people will find it easier to do LinkedIn ads than Facebook because of target audience, etc. If you're going to a small business or a business to consumer audience, honestly, it's all about Facebook still. The cost is just so much better. If you're thinking about doing LinkedIn ads, then I would suggest that you look at something along the lines of um, you know, finding a two-step post that works and then boost it. So if I show you this from our perspective, we tested it and we would only go onto a post that has done well. So something like this, they're getting impressions, and then that proves that if we just boost it to get more people seeing it, then that would work. Now we did do that, and we worked out that it costs us about £10 a lead as opposed to the £2 a lead. So for us, we just carried on spending money with Facebook, but it can work. But you want to get the post working well. So that's what's called a two-step post, those ones. Um, Love it. Do you guys, if you've got a question, do you want to put the digital hand up so it can be quite nice to kind of interact with a few people? Sam, did you have a question there? Are you able to unmute yourself and ask it? Sam Norris? Hey,
Yeah, hi
Sam.
Richard, how you doing? All right.
Oh, hi, Sam. We work
Yeah,
together.
yes,
Good
I know.
to see you, mate.
Yeah, good to see you too. I'll
Oh,
try and
thank
keep
you
it.
for the recommendation. I spoke to him yesterday.
Shane.
Runs the property.
Yeah,
Uh,
Shane.
Shane, nice guy. Yeah, nice guy. Thanks, Sam.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
yeah, you're welcome. It was just a quick one because I like the F2F model, and but this might be for a lot of people where you're kind of selling various different like a suite of products. Like we're a service business, we help clients and property developers with various different types of finance, so bridging development, commercial. How do we kind of make that F2F model work for us, where potentially a client may need various different types of products, if that makes sense?
Yeah, I think the point being is that you would have a lead product, a thing that is the easiest go-to penetration product, and just double down on that. Find out who the best audience is. You really want to look at who is the audience that's going to spend the most with you and is going to be the easiest to sell. Then work out what the best penetration product is for that. And then it's all about the upsell. So once you're in, and then you can upsell the suite to them, but double down. So when we're going free, blow their minds with free because all of your free content that yeah, maybe communities and groups and stuff that can very easily angle into a conversation around the penetration product, as opposed to trying to do free content that's like, hey, here's a little bit on this and a little bit of this and a little bit on this, which makes you very generic on your free content, which means it probably doesn't get the most amount of depth and renown for it. So, for example, it's a good example, Sam. Um, we used to call this the marketing roundtable. We used to talk about all types of marketing from Facebook ads to cold email marketing to nurture email sequences to building websites and SEO. And we would just take a topic and we would just cover that each week on this free thing. And then I'd upsell to marketing stuff. But the thing is, nobody kind of really felt part of that community. We weren't able to get such a great return on our marketing because it was kind of like a generic, like we just do all this stuff. So when we went LinkedIn, because LinkedIn was the best performing event, we just doubled down on LinkedIn, made a LinkedIn for breakfast, and now this group's grown really, really quickly, and it's been great because we can go hyper niche with it, and then of course we then have a product that makes sense because we offer VAs that can help people to do LinkedIn, right? So then that becomes the upsell to it, and then once we're in with people, we can say, well, actually, our VAs can also do ads and YouTube editing and all that sort of stuff. So then we can then work with a client and give them additional skills. But our penetration is LinkedIn into a LinkedIn VA, and that's how we work with clients. What do you think would be your penetration product and your free?
Yeah, I think for us would be working with developers, so development finance and everything sort of surrounding that. So I think it's just honing in on the content, um, which I mean, to be honest, we're really good at it, but and we're happy to help people with everything else. But that's like the core thing for us that is probably just the most enjoyable types of clients to work with and enjoyable applications to work on and projects to work on. So that would make a lot of sense to really hyper focus down on that.
And potentially make a group, like you can see with the LinkedIn for Breakfast community. Are you in the LinkedIn for Breakfast?
I will be shortly.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it's just you check it out because if you had a property developer community in there and like an event and all that sort of stuff, or even kind of, I know Shane's obviously doing a bit of that as well, but that's in Birmingham as opposed to yours could be yeah online, national, international, using that like that could be really good. And then it's an easy conversation. And the big thing is as well. So this is a great conversation for everybody to know. It's not about going yeah, great, you come along to a free event. Do you want to go buy my stuff? It's not. Continue the value. So you go one to many in value. So here's information about property and finance in property. And then the value session is let's have a one-to-one so we can actually look at what finance would work best for your property. So you kind of do that. So it's a second piece of value, now more personal. And then in that, if it's appropriate, then you can open the door to your products. But they are getting double value and it's not sleazy. It's just, hey, I can help you and then let me help you a little bit better. And then let me help you as a client if you feel like it's appropriate. And it's just perfect. And it just runs.
Yeah, great. I love that. Thank you.
No worries, bud. Good to see you. Guy Partlet. Good to see you, mate. Over to you.
Morning, morning, morning.
Morning,
Yeah,
morning.
likewise. So I popped a question in when you were talking about the process of kind of working out how many leads you need, what the frequency is, average order value, all that sort of stuff. All of that makes perfect sense to me, except my business has never had any kind of lead gen. We've always got our business through word of mouth,
Yeah.
which is all right, but obviously not where we need to be. So where do you start if you've never done lead generation? You've no idea what your metrics and conversion rates are.
So, um, the best thing to do because you will have had sales meetings that resulted in no sales
Yeah, yeah,
from word of mouth. So
yeah,
if you are able to go back 6 months and work out how many sales meetings have I had, look at your diary and just put a number down,
yeah,
and then from that number work out how many sales that you've had. Now you have a meetings to sale ratio.
yeah,
So that's great. And then from there work out, well, actually, if it's word of mouth and I'm getting 100% referrals that work to that, excuse me, that's great. But actually, have I in the last 6 months, do you have like a newsletter that you've created, or do you
no,
have
yeah,
some sort of list,
no.
do you have an email list?
Not really, because the email list that we've got is predominantly on the coaching business, which isn't what my focus is. So, so I'm kind of starting from scratch, I guess, in a way.
Oh,
I mean, my conversion rate through the word of mouth leads is about 80%, but that's because they're warm introductions. So, I'm not doing anything cold, and people know who I am, and I've got a very strong track record. So it feels like that's a bit of a false metric to work off.
Oh, it,
Um,
it, it will be a false metric, but it's the only metric, right?
yeah,
So that's why it's good to actually go. In the last 6 months, I had 100 meetings and I closed, yeah, or 10 meetings, I closed eight of them, right?
yeah,
80%. But actually really work it out because actually, then that's the hard and fast numbers.
yeah,
And then you then start to do marketing because what we want to do is actually go, well, how many more bookings did I get the next 6 months because I was doing lead gen because I want to
yeah,
continue my word of mouth. So I'm hopefully I'm expecting the 10 bookings from word of mouth in the next
yeah,
3 months.
yeah,
But actually, did I get 40 bookings because I was doing lead gen? So now there's a return on investment from that. And so
yeah,
that's quite nice to do it. And then other than that, then I would just take these ratios. Um, there's these are going to be wrong, but they're something, So
okay,
5 leads equals a booking,
yeah,
four bookings equals three actual turning up, and just work upon those metrics. And then
okay,
and then you can work out, well, actually, am I going to do ads? If I'm not, let's remove this, just remove this from the sheet because actually I'm going to focus just on marketing and maybe some warming up emails or whatever. So that means that I've got to get all of my leads from this
yeah,
one place. Is that
yeah,
fair? Is that too much? Or actually, if it's not, great. Now I just need to be saying, how do I achieve 6 leads a week from LinkedIn? How do
yeah,
I do that? What
yeah,
what 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 do I need to launch a LinkedIn newsletter? Do I need to do a two-step post? Do I need to create an event? Do I do a LinkedIn live? Do I do some sort of JV with someone who's got a big audience on LinkedIn that I can do a podcast interview with them? Whatever, but we're now
yeah.
problem solving the right things because we can see the numbers in front of us.
Okay, thanks,
Wicked. No worries, guy. Good to see you, mate. Good to see you.
Angie.
Um, B, over to you.
Hi, Richard. You have hit the nail on the head because I started this journey, I think, in January. I've done some posts, I'm now going into a newsletter, and everything you said today actually strikes a chord with what I need to do. Now, I've put a link to my post in the chat. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yes. Okay. Let me share
The
screen.
impressions just threw me like I didn't expect that kind of reaction, and it's gone, yeah, that one. And I was like, wow, now what can I do with this? Because, yeah, I don't know. It's really impressed me, and I need to do something. I need to do the leads, the follow up, and all that, but I don't have a structure. If I'm honest, I've just come out of being employed. I'm trying to do this on LinkedIn. That's why I was asking about the cost for advertising on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. I mean, I haven't read the chat. So the whole point of something like this is that this is a post. It's great. You've got 169 people that have liked it. There should be someone in there messaging all
Hmm.
those or reviewing these 169 people, and going, well, are these 169 people target audience? Because if Granny here, if Granny's not target audience, then we shouldn't connect with them. We shouldn't message them. We should just be grateful for their like. Pleased that they enjoyed it. No problem at all. But we definitely don't want to be connected with them if they're not target audience because that will mess up our Brew 360 algorithm. And we shouldn't be. And there's a whole conversation around that, by the way. If you want to look at the recordings within LinkedIn for Breakfast community, and you'll see me talk about Brew 360. But regardless, you shouldn't be connected to people who are not target audience. And so don't be connected to them. But if they are target audience, connect with them, thank them for their
Hmm.
like, ask them why they're interested, ask them what they're working on at the moment. And if it's all sounding pretty cool, see if they want to have a virtual coffee with you. That's great. But that's 169 individual conversations or individual decisions that need to be made upon if conversations should happen for one post over and above the fact that you also got 12 comments and 28 reposts. That's awesome. So we could double down on these reposts. Look, these 28 reposts, and we could also be talking to people about this. We could be commenting on every single one of these reposts. We could be thanking them, right? We could be looking at, well, why did this person repost?
Yeah.
There's work to be done just on this one thing here, and that's super important to think about. So yeah, look, if you're interested in getting help and support on this front, if you like, I can give you our LinkedIn marketer info pack. As I said, I don't like to pitch a tool on this, but there's an info pack here for our LinkedIn marketer piece. I'll stick it in the chat. It can show you our entire system and process. And there you go, £5 an hour is how we work. We're based in Dubai, by the way, which is why it's
Fantastic.
quoted in
That's
dirhams.
what I need because I'm letting this slip, and it's really gained momentum from my last post to this one. And I was like, wow, something is happening here and I need to act on it.
Wicked. I've just put the info pack link in there as well. So if you're interested, just please jump on there and also reach out to Flora or the team. Well, I'm sure Flora will loop around and just see how you're getting on after this and talk to you. Cool. Right, I've got three
Thank you.
minutes and I want to get through Gail and Jill. Who was first with their hand up? Oh, I think, well, Jill's pointing to Gail, so I'm going to say Gail. Over to you.
Sorry, I thought Jill was first.
That's okay. Well, we've got 3 minutes, so you've got the
Okay.
floor, Gail. Let's go.
Okay. Well, first of all, I do want to say that I would recommend your Brew 360 tool to
Oh, thanks.
anybody. Yes, it took me 2 full days to completely redo my profile. However, what the exercise really was about refocusing what I do and really understanding better what I do. So it was a massive exercise for me, and I would really recommend it.
Bless you.
So,
I'm just going to put the link to that in the chat
mm.
now. Brew 360 training, and there's a GPT tool on that. Okay, good stuff. Right.
Now
Go
the
for it.
next part of it is, I want to know if LinkedIn actually knows what it wants to be, because I get the feeling that LinkedIn is going through a Kodak moment. They went from this connection device to suddenly becoming content central. And I don't know, and I'm still on the free, and I won't move on to a paid version ever until I get value from the free. That's just one of my principles in life. So I'm still on the free version, and I only get 3 messages a month. How is that helping me to promote engagement? You know, there's so many mixed messages that I'm getting from LinkedIn at the moment.
Let me give it to you really quickly. So it wants to create more linger time, because more people that stay on their platform longer means that their share price will go up. If you've got a platform that's got lots of people on it and they're staying there for longer, more advertisers can advertise to them, and therefore you're going to make more money. So they want to be a content platform. They want to be a platform where you spend more time. The free thing, you can send 100 connections a week. You can only make 3 bespoke messages
Yeah, I know.
with those connections. So you can still send those connections. So still make sure that you do, just understand that you only can do 3 messages. So unfortunately, you just got to hack that by just making sure your headline is nailed and your content's nailed.
Yeah.
That's the only way to do it.
But my new profile is already after just 1 week, 2 weeks working for me. So cool.
Great. I love that, girl. I appreciate that. Good stuff. Good to see you. Right, Jill, over to you. Final question. And if Lucas is in the room, I know I've got you at 10 o'clock, so don't worry, we'll be finishing in 60 seconds or so. Jill, over to you. You're muted.
No pressure for speed. Thanks, Richard. Okay, so I've shifted over from enterprise consulting into my passion space now. I've built a bespoke program for entrepreneurs.
Nice.
Talking about your ecosystem, because what I did is I created what we call the category of 1, your top level offer, and then just slid back from that. But this is the only one that needs me to engage, like on, and everything. I've designed it so everything comes into my newsletter so I can consistently deliver. I haven't set up the events yet. In an ecosystem like that the value is not dependent on me, are you still saying go from 0 to hero? Is the question.
Yeah, so I honestly think that the best thing to do is to be able to, when someone is ready to buy, sell them the solution. Don't sell them solution light or solution before the solution. Sell them the solution, because the solution is the thing that's going to be able to keep them for longer, make you the money, make them get the result, and for you to be able to scale like that. So
can I ask you one last thing very quickly, Richard? So I've got 2 types of clients. I've survived up to now. I've had 4 years now. Referral business, which comes in warm, it's easy to convert. Okay, and a very high conversion rate. So I'm now trying to go for the cold prospects. And what I'm finding is they want to kind of like get to know me better. So are you saying then that you use your weekly moment to create that, not the products?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, cool.
Look at us. We're starting a relationship. We're answering questions. You and I are chatting. And then remember the one-to-one next. You then move people into one-to-one. It's still high value, high touch point. You can throw the kitchen sink at people, and then they are really enjoying what you do. That's super important.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
No worries. I hope that helps. Feel free, guys, if anybody's got further questions or follow-on questions, we're in the community LinkedIn for Breakfast. We love questions in there. Even videos of recorded questions. I'll give you a video back, like it's a great place to be able to get help and support. So if you've got further questions, please do ask. Big love, guys. Lucas, I'm going to close this room down, but jump straight back into the link just because it's the easiest way to kind of finish one meeting and start another meeting. So just jump straight back on this link. Everybody else will either see your LinkedIn profile audit or we'll see you next Wednesday, 9 a.m. for another slice of LinkedIn for Breakfast action. Big love. Take care. Have a good week, gang.
Bye.
Bye all. Thank you.